Hey everyone, and welcome to season two, episode two of Phoenix Talks. Diane and I are excited to be back. And tonight we have an interesting conversation that we're going to be having. And I got to tell you, I I went into such a mind spin about this particular conversation that on Saturday night, after she had told me on Friday, and I was trying to get geared up to do what it was that we were going to talk about, I was like, I'm just not in alignment with it. So I just wanted to share that funny little tidbit about the fact that we're talking about alignment tonight.
Isn't that interesting how the universe works and gives us examples?
It's
Well,
absolutely crazy.
the reason why I chose this topic was because we're at the new year and we're trying new things and we're doing things differently, put the question in everyone's mind, are you aligned with what's really resonating with you, or are you just going through motions that you were programmed to believe you have to do? And how do you know that when you're aligned? What does it feel like? What does it look like? What happens? What happens when you're not aligned and you got to
I
do
think
it
it's easier
anyway?
for us to describe the how you're not
Yes,
than it is to describe the how you are.
yes,
Because so many people are like, well, I don't, maybe I'm out, I don't, but I don't feel right. Oh, wait, there it is.
yes. So maybe you could tell us why you didn't feel aligned and are choosing to do it anyway.
It stems from my own personal struggle with what I call outcast syndrome, which is kind of like imposter syndrome. Even though just recently I was told, I was born to be an outcast. I need to own that because not everybody can do what I do and not everybody should be able to. But at the same time, it's just one of those things of, okay, um, I kind of don't really know how to talk about because I don't, and this is literally the thought process is going on in my head, but they just started spiraling, and I'm like, wait, I am in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just letting myself think out of it.
Okay. Yeah. That's a beautiful process. It is.
It's hell, but it's still beautiful.
Right. And so what we can point out in that is how do you know? Well, let's start with the how do you know you're aligned? Uh, you know you're aligned when it feels right in every part of your body, when your nervous system is relaxed, and when you have that sense of knowing that this is what you need to do and
Yeah,
this is right for you. That's how you know you're aligned. So you really have to pay attention to get to know yourself. That's why we got to work through our stuff.
it's
Work
okay.
through
You can say
your shit.
shit.
I was just saying, like, work through your shit. We got to work through it in order to get to know ourselves so that we can learn how and what we feel aligned with, what resonates with you most.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I try and keep in mind is this is what I'm called to do.
Hmm. Right.
Everything that I've ever been through throughout the course of my nearly 52 years on this planet has been gearing me up, teaching me experientially. I don't have certificates, I got life experience with what I teach and aligning with that so that I can help others see. And that's when I was like, okay, it may not happen all the time. It may not be where you want it yet, but I'm aligned with the fact that I know that I'm making an impact somewhere to someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every once in a while, the universe will just kick back a reminder saying, you did do this.
Yeah.
You did make that difference. You are doing what you're supposed to be doing. Are you going through hell right now? Yes.
Right.
But also in the reverse of that, the universe will throw in signs when we are just living the definition of insanity,
Right.
of trying to do the same things over and over again, expecting a different outcome. Well, if we are still allowing ourselves to continue to do the same things, even though over here is saying, hey, come here,
Right.
look it over here. This is where you're supposed to be. Why are you over there still?
Yeah.
That's not who you are. And so many people feel this, but they don't know exactly how to start. That's where you're going to
Right.
come in.
Right. And the process of becoming authentic to yourself starts with that self-honesty and self-accountability in what it is that you need to change in order to be in alignment with what actually resonates, not with what you're programmed to believe you're supposed to be doing or thinking or whatever. So, how you know you're not aligned is because things go wrong in your life.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You're in the wrong energy. You're putting out the wrong signal, and the wrong things are unfolding for you because there's something off that you're not resonating with within yourself. Our most authentic state is the state of truth. So, in what ways are you not living your own truth?
Yeah.
This, and you have to do that process of self-discovery with each trigger that you're healing and processing and working through. It's that self-discovery process so that you can align. Because it's the how to align is, well, how do I know I'm aligned? Well, it's that self-discovery. You'll feel it
Yeah.
and you'll know it.
We could try to describe what the feeling is. It's
Right.
going to be different for everyone, but the main, it's a feeling of joy. It's a feeling of peace. It's going to be different levels and different names for everybody, but it's going to be the opposite of what you've been feeling,
Right.
almost complete opposite of what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And something that just popped in my head is to tell viewers that when you do something for somebody else, or you do something that just brings you absolute joy. Okay, first, is it in the act? Is it just an escape? Is it a way of expressing yourself just to get through the day, or is it something that you can't have a moment during the day that you don't think about it and wish that that's what you were doing instead? It's that little voice inside the head that's saying, hey, you're not in alignment with what you want to do in this life. You're not in alignment with why you're here.
Mhm.
Move.
And alignment is not just what we're doing too. It extends also to how you think and what you speak. Ever say something and make yourself cringe
Yep.
and say, "Oh, I didn't like that I just said that, but now it's out there and it's too late." No, it's not. It's not in here. It's not in your heart. You have to do that work inside your brain to ask yourself, why did that come out of my mouth? Where did that come from? I obviously don't feel right about it because it's making me feel a certain kind of way. I made
Yeah.
myself cringe. So why am I still doing that? And what's happening in that moment that brought that on?
Right.
And give yourself the opportunity to actively choose to align yourself to what feels right to you. Even your thoughts, sometimes you trigger yourself because you self-sabotage. How many times have you put yourself down through the years because you spilt your coffee? Really? Think about how does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? And you know now that it really didn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but at that time you were hurting yourself and that didn't feel good.
Nope.
If it don't feel right, it ain't right. That's what
And
I
why
tell
did you
my
spill
kids.
the coffee? Because that's what was in your cup.
Yeah.
Why did you spill the milk? Because that's what was in your glass.
Yeah. And it's anything like that. Any of those little things that happen, idiosyncrasies in life that occur that we attack ourselves for. Well, that's not really aligned with how we truly feel about ourselves.
Yeah.
So those little nuances too have to get factored into the equation so that all aspects of your life align for you, mind, body, and spirit. And when I say body, I mean including the material world and how you have to exist in it.
Right. And one of the mottos that I have for 2025, which adult content warning right now for what I'm about to say, because don't feed the fuck ups.
Hmm.
It's not helping you.
Nope. No,
It
you
kicks
can't
you,
beat
it kicks
yourself
you even
up.
more out of alignment than you're already in.
And if you have questions on, well, how do I stop doing that? Go back to our self-judgment piece. I have no idea what episode that is. Don't ask.
I heard number 5. I don't know. Maybe
Okay,
it
we'll
was
see
an.
if that's right.
It's in the other playlist.
Yes. Season 1.
It's in season 1 playlist.
Right, right. So that's stuff that needs to be worked through because the part of the not aligning yourself is that self-sabotage. Are you treating yourself with the utmost unconditional love and compassion?
Right.
And don't forget, you're not going to reach that state of compassion unless you forgive also yourself for whatever.
And how many people go to meditation or feel like they have to go to meditation to get aligned? This parallels and then off a segue to the
Mhm.
next.
Right.
Because it's another part of it.
It sure is.
I have to get in alignment. Oh, damn. You think it's going to work for you with that? No. I have to sit a certain way. I have to breathe a certain way so that I can get aligned. How's that working for you? When you put those pressures of having to, especially when it comes to aligning,
Hmm.
you're going to sit there for hours, weeks on end, wondering why you can't, wondering why you keep slipping out of it so easily. Because I have to do it this way. I have to make sure that I'm paying attention to this. I have to look at my breath. I have to visualize. I have to make sure that I'm sitting. What works for many, not for everyone.
Well, the ones that that it will work for are the ones who are simultaneously doing the other work to align themselves. So
Right.
that's the secret is you have to align yourself in all aspects of your life. You have to continuously uh, treat yourself with love and compassion.
Yes.
And you have to allow yourself to feel that you are where you're supposed to be. You are thinking in a loving, compassionate manner. You are speaking true relevance, kindness. Um, you have to embody what it is that resonates most with you, and that's going to look different for everybody. So authenticity is the key to alignment. Well, what happens when after I align? Well, then things start to unfold in your experience that come easily. You want a parking spot open? Boom, there's the open parking spot.
Yep.
You were thinking of um, going back to school? Boom, now all of a sudden there's these school things. You never spoke it, but you're thinking it. Like it's your energy that is affecting your reality. So if you're not aligned with what truly resonates with you and what you want to experience, you're going to not have the experience that you really want.
Yeah, unlike, cell phones and computers that have the microphones that listen to what you're saying and watch where you're going,
Hmm.
they don't hear your thoughts, thank goodness.
Right.
But if they did, you might be pushed closer to where you want to go and start seeing the results that you're wanting to see. Or not.
Well, it's a choice, isn't
Yeah,
it?
total choice.
We can choose to learn from our experience and go through all the episodes, season one, that teaches you how to be authentic to yourself and how and why and all that jazz. So it's a matter of taking those steps towards yourself intentionally to get yourself to that place of now things are just falling on your lap.
Yep.
Oh, you needed a
Now if
requirement to
anybody,
rank? There it is.
if anybody saw have been follow that have been rewind.
Words are
If
hard.
sometimes yes, anyone who's been following us and seen episodes, especially towards the end of last year, if you did any of the homework that we gave you, where we said, go and figure it out what it is that you want. What do you want? Did you do that? Have you done that yet? Do you know what you're being called to do? Do you know what is inside of you? Do you know what your value systems are? Do you know all of those things? Because if you do, if you took that time, you're a step ahead of anybody else saying this for the first time. Because you've already started to make the discoveries and start to pay attention to your own patterns. And the more that you pay attention to what you're not aligning with or who, the more you start to look at different things that you want to bring to you, that you want to align with, people you want to align with, ideas that you want to align
Mhm.
with grace.
Yes. Okay, so, but I also want to add that if you discover after trying something that you don't really like it, that's okay too.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself that love and compassion and understanding and learn from what it is that you don't like and realign, reshift your focus and attention to something different. It's that something different piece that was mentioned earlier as well. You can't keep doing the same thing over again, like you said, and expect to
Right.
get a different result. So it's there, that information is there for you to analyze and decide to what is going to be better in its place going forward. So you're constantly realigning yourself so that you can move forward and build that momentum in order for things to fall in your lap.
So maybe the first place to start with aligning is aligning within the trust of you.
Yep. You have to trust your instincts. You have to trust your intuition, but you need to also heal those aspects of yourself that blocks you from trusting yourself and seeing and acknowledging what is your intuition, your gut feeling, your second brain. Your second brain is your gut. There's body chemistry at work there that really is our intelligence to some degree.
Oh,
Uh,
God, yes.
so it is it is to be listened to and heeded.
there's a
Um,
there's a spiritual intelligence that looks out for us, that's on our side
mhm,
24/7
mhm.
if we're listening. It's
If
not
we're
always,
listening and you
it's not
can't
always
hear
comfortable.
it, yeah, you can't hear it through the filter of trauma
No.
because that blocks you from believing that you are able to receive something that sounds like it's going against everything that everybody's telling you, because your intuition is not always going to align with society, culture, and religious beliefs and requirements and
Nope.
expectations and demands.
Nope.
So part of this alignment process is being okay with not fitting in and still being brave enough to take a step towards what you feel is the right path. And that can look like anything. I mean, 2.5 years ago, I put a deposit down on a place to live but I paid the first month's rent before I even had a job to pay for it. Because my intuition was like, nope, you got to do it right now. Okay, here we go. I don't have a job yet though. Okay. Looking for okay, I got a job now. Okay, we're good. It was 2 weeks for me to find a job.
Yeah.
So for 2 weeks, I had to trust that it was going to unfold for me, and it did. So like that's what I'm saying. You have to give yourself an opportunity to practice trusting yourself, even if it goes against the grain. Even if you have all these naysayers, whom I'm going to remind you are coming from their own limited level of understanding. So that doesn't mean they know what you know, and only you know about yourself. Nobody else does.
Right.
Even in intimate relationships, your partner could know you and read you like a book, but you're the only one living your life. They're living from their perspective of you. So as long as you remember to align yourself with you by learning who you are.
I'm laughing at the chat because we have Carrie in the chat.
Hi, Carrie.
She's throwing out one word responses, and I know what every single one of them mean because we talk off off the podcast. We're very close friends. So I know exactly what she's referring to in every single statement that she's making.
Sorry about the dog barking. Someone rang the doorbell, so she's doing her job.
Thank you, Marie.
That's the joys of being on a live. Life happens around you.
Exactly. I mean, we don't have a studio that we go to, and we are not aligned with paying somebody else to record this. We're doing this from our own living rooms.
Yep.
So
Raw and unfiltered.
raw and unfiltered, and this is us.
That's it. So let's talk about relationships, alignment in relationships, because
Okay.
that's a big nugget for a lot of people because they think they're aligned with someone. And then they learn more about the person, and then it's like, oh, why did I think I was aligned? So this comes to a place of you having to determine what you value most, and that is something that you learn with each different relationship. You learn what you don't want from the relationships that you're not in anymore.
Yeah.
The ones that you have that are long term and that last until, one of you goes, uh, those relationships are aligned because their core values and their core beliefs are on par. So what I mean by, and that means something different to everybody. So you have to determine what you value the most and what means the most to you in a relationship. And that could be for any kind of relationship because listen, I don't even have friends that I'm not aligned with. Whoever's in my life, they know they're in my life because they're on par with me for what, purposes they're in on par.
And a lot of people, when they hear somebody say that, it strikes a chord, depending on their upbringing and their own beliefs and value systems. It strikes a chord of, oh my God, she's such a selfish bitch. No, she's not. And if the viewer, you are very certain about the type of people that you align with, it's not selfish to be compassionate towards the people that you're not. Doesn't mean that you have to have them in your life.
Correct.
You can
So,
be kind from a distance.
right. From a distance.
I
Yes.
heard that coming up. I
Of course you did.
was like, she's gonna sing
Yeah,
it.
you knew it. Excuse me. So with relationships, that alignment has to be very individual to you. You can't force yourself to like what they like, think how they think, believe what they believe, to keep the peace, to accommodate. Don't do that. You're not aligned with yourself if you're forcing yourself to be something that you're not in order to fit with a person, because superficial things that aren't really relevant to the health and well-being of a secure relationship are valued at a higher place than the stuff that actually matters when the shit hits the fan and
You know,
when life circumstances happen.
you just brought another level of alignment
Mm-hmm.
into the conversation with that, because sometimes people find themselves aligned with being with the same type of person over and over again. And it's a completely different kind of alignment, because that's you're aligned with that kind of programming. If that kind of programming is uncomfortable and you keep asking yourself, why do I just have this repetitive cycle? That's what you're aligned with. That's when the shift needs to happen. And looking at Reiki, looking at your values, looking at what you want, looking at aligning the chakra systems. There's so many different ways that you can move away from the alignment that you are in. So it was that just kind of branched out to, oh, I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And remember, everything that we incorporate in our experience to help us through it is tools. They're tools. Everything is a tool for us to utilize to assist us. But ultimately, we have to take action towards what feels right in our soul, in our heart, in our gut, and what makes the most sense to us when we utilize and integrate the new information that we received in the brain.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of emotional and mental work before you implement anything in the physical world. So it's always emotional and mental first, and then physical response. Because that's how you know.
Yeah. Quick shout out to one of the Rise community members, Condi. He just joined us in the chat. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you. Glad to have you here.
So the other aspect of alignment I wanted to talk about was aligning yourself with yourself realistically. Let me explain what that means. That doesn't really make sense when you hear it out loud.
I did see the capital S in the second self. So
Thank
I'm
you.
with you. So you got little self, you got big self. Go.
Yes. So exactly. So usually big self, higher self, is the one who is that gut instinct, that gut feeling, that intuition, the spiritual knowledge, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
When you don't listen to yourself and you make a different choice, you end up saying, I should have known that. I knew that. And why did I do that? And you're not helping. You're shaming yourself instead of deciding, oh, okay, yeah, I see why. So I kind of did that myself. All right. So now next time, instead, I'm going to do it different. And it might be uncomfortable, but I have to do it different so it feels right in here. Because in your being is where it needs to feel right. So you have to work with yourself to adjust what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
so that you can learn what it feels when you are aligned.
Wow, I just saw somebody who went to do something that they were forced to do it in a hurry. And on the way to do it, they tripped over their own feet.
Wow.
And their body was just responding to the fact, no, you should not be doing this, trying to prevent them from it. And what they do, they just, okay, well, I guess I'll bench that up later. All right, let's go. Did it anyway. Then they realized, shouldn't have done that. Thank you, body, for trying to tell me.
Yeah. There you get signs. So that I guess that's the whole point. You have to pay attention to the signs. You have to pay attention to what your body's telling you. You have to pay attention to what your thoughts are. And you have to pay attention. How do I really feel about this? That question needs to be all the time. How do I really feel about this? Is that how I really feel? What's my body doing?
Test, we can actually give the viewers something today that they can use. It's a muscle test. Make a circle, but connect. Now, when you're trying to make a decision about doing something, try it at the grocery store. You'll get strange looks, so what? Who cares? Do I want this brand or this brand? Okay. Now, as you're asking, okay, do I want this? No. Okay, but do I want that one? Okay, sure. If there's resistance, and you don't have to put any force on it, just lightly. But if there's resistance to what it is that you're asking about, your fingers are going to clamp harder. If it's something that you're more aligned with, they're going to come apart.
There's
So
a
that's
great
something
little,
that you can take on.
yeah, there's a great little helpful tool to add to your toolbox. Thank you, Micah.
Well, I need to use it more. So I got to take that and put it right back in my toolbox.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Learning to trust yourself and learning to trust your inner voice, I think, is the biggest piece to aligning yourself to what you are meant to experience in order for things to unfold, and that you have to learn how to trust yourself, and that takes time.
Right.
I don't know which episode that is either in season 1.
We start overlapping at some point, so we start mentioning things that we've talked about in other episodes. And when it comes to energetic alignment, we got about 10 minutes left before we need to wrap it up. But I did want to touch on energetic alignment at some point, because it's one of the things of how do I know if I'm energetically aligned?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm a Sikkim Reiki master teacher. So for me, when someone is not aligned, their energy feels different in a specific energy center.
yep.
And I can clear out energetic blockages and debris and whatever terminology you want to use to get your chakras flowing beautifully. But if you don't shift what your how you're feeling and thinking about yourself, and you're not acting in alignment with yourself, you will throw yourself off. It's this, I equate it to, well, you can go to the chiropractor for an adjustment, but if as soon as you leave his office, you start throwing 50-pound cement bags into the back of a pickup truck, what'd you go to the chiropractor? You just broke yourself again. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So you have to do the work to maintain that alignment, and you have to use your tools, all your tools that you need. And the tools evolve with you. You may not resonate with certain things you did last year because you don't really feel the need for them anymore, but there's still a tool in your toolbox should someday you decide, hey, I think I need to do that thing again. So just remind yourself that you have to do what you need to do to keep yourself aligned. Otherwise, it's like going to a chiropractor. You're just going to undo it.
Yep. And the hardest spot in the chakra system to keep aligned, clean, is the digestion. Because of the shit we feed ourselves. And I'm not just talking about processed food. I'm talking about what we think, what we say. These can be open, clear, running smoothly. However, what is coming out of them is getting dumped.
So the two energy centers that gut health is locationally stationed. I'm going to use that terminology because things are, anyway, it's complicated. There's there's meridians, things are connected. I'm
Yep.
talking about locationally. Midsection of the body is the solar plexus and the sacral chakra. So you're dealing with things like confidence, the ego. I'm saying confidence because it's part of the ego. So is arrogance. So like you're dealing with all the ego stuff. You're dealing with your power center. This is what's driving me forward, taking action and doing kind of. And you're dealing with your emotional stability and your reproductive area down at the lower end of your digestive system. There's the emotional balance that needs to occur. And the creativity is part of that. So if there's no creativity in your life in any way, shape, or form, you're not going to assist yourself in balancing those emotions. And if you're not being brave enough and treating yourself with love and compassion, the ego, this is all parts of the ego, because love and compassion, there is only love. You need to have compassion.
Mhm.
There's not pity. That's the other end.
Yep.
There's a difference. So you've got to address all of those things that are dealing with your heart and mind. So your emotional and mental stuff happens in that whole digestive locational area.
And when you were creating something using that expression, and it's part of you, and this is very difficult, and we do put this into the Rise Radio community, but when you are creating something, so making a song, if you are proud of it, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks.
Mm-hmm.
The praise is extra. The validation is extra. It's you pouring out your heart, your feelings, your joy, your sadness, your grief, your excitement, whatever it is, into that song, being creative, getting those out, and being happy with what you do. Allowing somebody else to tell you that's crap, that sucks, you shouldn't be doing that, that's giving them permission to push you out of alignment, and then you feel it.
Right. Your creativity is for your health and well-being, no one else's. So you have to do what you're pulled to do creatively, whatever that looks like for you specifically.
Carrie just posted the zipped face emoji.
Uh-oh, why? What's she not saying?
I'm not saying a thing.
She's not sharing.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything.
Oh, I hope
Dude,
everyone
when it
has a
comes
lot of meat and potatoes on how
yeah,
to get themselves in alignment, and trusting themselves and trust the process, trust the journey, trust yourself. Because if you're being led by your higher self and allowing that, even if it looks there's a lot of naysayers and interesting challenges to navigate through,
right.
still act in alignment with your higher self.
And that's who you want to answer to.
Mm-hmm.
And while Diane can Reiki the shit out of you,
Not literally. Well, maybe
or
some.
literally,
Sometimes cleansing happens, but that's not.
as the cleansing happens, and while you're doing that, and I can be in a reading with somebody, and while we're sitting there talking, I'm behind the scenes, just kind of shoving shit around, getting it out of the way, clearing it up. It's up to you. anything that she or I were to help you with energetically is temporary. It's a virtual assist, if you will, to help you understand the feeling that can happen when there's that energetic alignment going on within.
Right. The ultimate goal is for you to recognize and learn it within yourself so that you don't need Micah or I. So we're equipping you with the tools to empower yourself to these places
Yeah.
and spaces.
Yeah. We can give you a head start, but
You got to take the wheel.
listen. Yep. Listen to yourself
Yeah.
so that
Yep.
you can stay in alignment.
Yeah. What a great conversation.
And we could go on for hours about
We
this.
could always go on for hours.
We could have your head spinning on alignment.
Yes. There's a lot more to talk about.
But I think that I'm full up. I don't know about you,
I
but
think
I'm
we're
full up.
good. We gave enough meat and potatoes to keep you on track based off of last week's now we gave them fizzolutions. We're not fizzling out. Now we know how to stay there. Stay there.
Yeah, keep the fires lit.
Yeah.
And speaking of, I'm gonna take the last couple minutes to remind everybody this coming Sunday is the next Risers in Flight Zoom call. So if you catch this prior to what is this Sunday? I don't even remember the date. 17th, I think. Is that this
Oh,
Sunday?
I
No.
have no idea. I'm sorry. No, the 17th is Friday.
Yep,
19th.
I just realized what day it was and did the math. Yes, so the 19th of January. Come on, Micah, get together. Anyway. That's at 1
Nice to
p.m.
yourself.
I know, I know. I'm not going to feed the fuck up. But the link will be in the description below if you'd like to sign up for that subscription. It's still available. So I'd love to have you join that group Zoom call. It's bi-weekly and we just have a great time. We just love with each other. It's direct access with me for readings, coaching, one-on-one coaching, whatever the case needs. So, and as long as my Zoom decides on my computer to behave, I'll go beyond an hour. But also, I know that the promo period is over for it, but Break Free Rise Fierce is still available. I want you to look out for an event that I'm putting together. I think I might be doing it on my birthday, which is Friday, February 7th. I'm looking around 2 p.m. for that. So be on the lookout on Facebook and here on YouTube for more information about when that's coming up, because it's an amazing program, can help with taking those burdens off, helping you to stop people please, stop shoulding all over yourself, because God knows we have enough of that in the world. So if you'd like more information, reach out to me direct. I can get that to you. Diane, you are beginning to branch out too. So I'd like for you to take a moment and do some shameless plugs for yourself.
Well, right now you can find me on heal.me and it's my name like it shows up in Facebook, Diane R. DeBiase. And the type of life coaching that Micah and I do really empowers you to get to your fullest potential. And so we're both always taking on new clients because we do our job. And I can do everything virtually, so it doesn't matter where your location is. I don't need you in person. I just need you in a space of openness and readiness and willingness to make major changes in your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And with that, I'll figure out the next topic because I think it's Micah's turn.
Your turn.
So I will figure out what the next topic's going to be, and I'll put that on a short very soon, probably tomorrow or the next day, and let Diane know what it is so that we can't talk about it until next Wednesday.
Yes.
Till then,
I can't wait to find out.
Until then, you guys have an amazing, amazing week. We love you. Don't
Love
forget
you.
to love yourself and keep that in your list of things that you're thankful for and that you love every single day. And we'll talk to you soon. Keep going.